Alright, so this is my review for The Legend of Korra Season 3, Episode 6, titled Old Wounds, and Episode 7, titled Original Airbenders. So I'm going to start with Episode 6, of course, and then jump into Episode 7 and all that. So you know how I do my review, so let's just jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is Varrick. Varrick made a magnet suit. Now, what is the purpose of this suit exactly? Thinking about it, it's possible these suits could be what takes down Metal City. Thing is, though, they continue to enforce the fact that this city is the safest place the Avatar can be. So I believe Varrick's invention could be why Metal City will be taken down at some point in time. And if you think about Varrick, we don't really know what this guy's thinking. Like, this guy's very eccentric. He's just out there. And not to mention, you don't know if he's really changed or not. If you also got to remember as well, Varrick, he's a manipulative type of person. He'll get what he wants. He'll do what he has to do to get what he wants. And it's not surprising or shocking at all if Varrick is using Sue's kindness and forgiveness to go into the city and just, you know, do what he wants to do, you know, to raise himself up, to get him back into this business world, you know, because of things that happened to him. You know, he's supposed to be in jail, but he broke out, so we don't really know the whole intentions of what Varrick is trying to do here. And so because it's a big mystery, and because he's making this invention, not to mention, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the last couple episodes before when we first saw Varrick, wasn't he making some kind of transportation system with magnets? So where did this suit come from exactly? Why would he make a magnet suit? So again, like I said, all this is just interesting, and I don't know what he's trying to do, but we need to watch this guy. Because again, I believe he may be the downfall to Metal City at some point. So next thing I want to talk about is Zaheer in the game. They want to take out the Republic City president, but they first need to take out Korra. So they leave the city. It's interesting though, they want to take out the president. It just seems like they just want to see the world burn or something. It's just like, I don't know, they just seem very one-dimensional. And I don't want them to be one-dimensional villains. I want them to be like Amon in the first season. If you remember Amon, this guy, he wasn't just, you know, he wasn't just pure evil. Korra thought he was pure evil, but he wasn't. His cause was actually a pretty interesting cause, and something we can actually agree upon. Like, he wasn't just evil, you know, he was in the gray. You know, he wanted justice for non-benders. I mean, honestly, right now, we still have injustice for these non-benders. People are still getting terrorized by the triple triads. You know, these benders are doing stuff to these non-benders, and stuff like this is still going on. And it's like we never really got that. It never got fixed, you know. It's still there. It just got swept under the rug for the most part. So it's just like I would love to see a villain like Amon again, because he was that thing, you know. He was that entity of this person that was just, he wasn't just all bad, you know. And I love villains that actually have depth to them. You know, there's more to them. You know, he's not just a pure villain. I'm hoping these guys are not just pure villains. I'm hoping there's a lot more that goes about with these characters and what their real objective, like everything that they're striving for, what they want. You know, I want to know everything when it comes to their goals and ambitions for what they're doing here, besides taking out the Avatar and stealing babies and stuff. Like, I mean, we need to know some more stuff about them. I'm really hoping we see more, and I keep saying this in every review, but we need to see more of these guys and what their true agendas are and what they want in life. God. Oh, and speaking of Zaheer in the game, Zaheer, at the end of this episode, Zaheer meditates. And somehow, some way, in a magical world, this dude found where Korra was. He knew Korra was in Metal City. How the heck you do that just from meditating? Like, what kind of, like, this guy is really OP or something. I don't understand how he's doing any of this. Like, I understand in some sense, like, how good he is when it comes to, like, being an airbender. He was kind of, like, born to be an airbender, but he wasn't. You know, the fact that he got this power is like a blessing to him in a way. So, of course, getting the power, he was just being OP mother sucker. But it's like, I don't understand how he did that exactly. I'm not really sure how he's able to, because he don't have no actual connection with Korra like that. So I don't know how he would have, like, assessed where she was. I mean, I don't know. If you guys have any ideas exactly how this happened, tell me in the comment section below. I really want to know, because I'm honestly kind of perplexed right now when it comes to Zaheer meditating and just, boom, I knew where Korra is. I'm like, what the heck? And then also talking about Korra can now metal bend, which she did fairly easily actually. So we're gonna see some more cool metal bending action later. Yeah, but Korra seems to just learn every bending fairly easily. The only bending that she actually even struggled with was with airbending, you know? That's like the only one. Everything else is just like good. And speaking about metal bending, Bolin actually wanted to metal bend. He was kind of being like, he's like trying to back off of it, like, you know, he's not trying to show he's interested in it, but at the same time he is. Like, he's always wanted to metal bend. He actually looked up to Toph because Toph metal bend and stuff. Like, he really wished he had this ability, but he thinks to himself that he's that 1 in 100 type of bender that can't get metal bending. He just was thinking in his head that he just couldn't do it. I think because he just was thinking that he couldn't do it, because, you know, everything works on your emotions when it comes to bending here. You can't just, you know, think this type of way and have this type of this mood and this attitude. You think you're really actually gonna be able to learn this bending. So I think with that, because he was struggling with it when he was trying to learn it, it just, you know, he had this type of mindset. But after talking to Opal and everything like that, talking about their issues and stuff, he decides to actually try to learn some metal bending. So we'll see him actually metal bend here soon, shortly as well, so I look forward to that. Because it's about time for that boy to get some metal bending. Your brother got that electricity from that fire and everything like that, so you need the next step. You need the next level too. Let's go! And so the rest of this episode is the problem with Lin and Su. Lin goes to get acupuncture to get her to be relaxed because how mad she was getting in this episode got her head hurt, and she's just like, ah. And the thing is, it's so funny because how mad she was getting, it really reminded me, I don't know if you guys watch this series, or the show I mean, but it's King of the Hill. You know, it reminded me of Hank Hill when he was getting mad. But yeah, so with Lin doing acupuncture, it made memories resurface, and basically to sum it up, it was like everyone said, Su was a rebel, she was reckless, and I mean, she was actually doing criminal acts. But that's because she just had all that freedom. And when it comes to Lin wanting to follow her mother's footsteps became a cop and wanted to impress her mother. And so like I said, with Su doing criminal acts and seeing as Lin as, you know, she's a freaking police officer, their fates will meet soon. And so it did. Su was working with some of the triads, and they were just like she was basically driving her in this getaway car to get the heck out of there. And that's when Lin caught them, and Lin was like, what Su, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And with this encounter with these two, actually, this is where we actually get to see where Lin's scars come from. It happened because of Su. Su was just trying to like walk off and like, you ain't gonna catch me, you ain't gonna do nothing, you ain't gonna touch me. I'm your sister. I'm gone. And that's when freaking Lin was like, shoots the freaking metal, you know, ropes and stuff, and then she comes around, slashes that metal rope, it comes back, and then just smacks Lin right in the face, and I'm like, dang, really? And so after Toph talks to both of them, and Toph decides to basically make this incident disappear, making Su not having to take responsibility for her actions, which made Lin very, very upset. One thing that did happen to Su, though, is that Toph decided to take her out of the city. Can I just pause for a second? Because you know what? It's nice to see Toph again. You know? She's all older and everything like that, but it is nice to see Toph here again, honestly. It was real nice. Honestly, I will say this too, I don't know, I need to look this up, but for some reason Toph's voice kind of sounded like freaking Sakura a little bit. I don't know why. I really don't know why. To me, it sounded a little bit like Sakura when she was starting to yell a little bit. I was like, is Sakura up in here? Like, what? But going back into real time, so Lin realizes what she needs to go do, and she confronts Su this time around. And that's when we get a battle! It's Rumble time! Animation was, of course, freaking beautiful, and the fight scene was just really nice. You know, those two were going ham on each other. But Opal stopping gets Lin passing out after the fight, and then after she awakes after, you know, she passed out, she changed all of a sudden. So after waking up, she realizing all this was unnecessary. Su and Lin make up. Also, Opal is allowed to go train at the Air Temple. Su, realizing how, because she had so much freedom, she decided to do the opposite of what, you know, her parents did or her mother did, and so she decided to become restrictive. But she knows now that isn't right, and there's a balance to it all, and it seemed both Lin and Su found that balance. So on to episode 7, which is entitled Original Airbenders. In this episode, basically, Tenzin is trying to teach and train the new Airbenders, but it's not going so well. So later, Tenzin was talking to Korra, and Korra ends up giving him some advice. Pause right here. This right here is amazing. The advice Korra gives to Tenzin was actually very logical, and he said it himself, that Korra is becoming a very wise avatar, and I'm very happy for her development. I'm very happy for her development as an avatar. She still needs more wisdom when it comes to handling people, but she's getting so much better, and I love the fact that we're getting that from her. It's just, she needs this. Like, it's like, whatever we're seeing, he keeps constantly seeing the change, and I'm always going to keep bringing this up about the change, because there's always a change in people. There's always a change in heart, and people change in life, you know? And it's just like we're finally seeing her change, and it's just only growing further. She's becoming much more wiser as an avatar, and she's just becoming better as an avatar. Like I said, when it comes to people, she still needs work on that. She still needs work on that, because you saw in last episode what she said to Lin was a little unnecessary. But hey, you know, she's getting better, alright? So with the advice Tenzin got from Korra, he goes to Bumi and asks him what he would do to train the Airbenders. And his advice was some bad advice, because basically Tenzin turned into Meelo. Tenzin became this control freak. Tenzin went ham on the people. He was very aggressive and hard on them. The way he was more like the Earth Queen in some cases, and it was getting bad. People didn't want to do it anymore, and Bumi quit. But later he realizes he needed to be patient, because everyone is still trying to adjust to this lifestyle, to being an airbender and just living in this area, you know, this is what they have to do. But the problem here that I have with this is the fact that Tenzin lost his cool again. He should already know he needs patience for people, because he went through this before with Korra in season 1. He went through this exact problem where he tried to teach something to someone, he ain't working, he gets mad, and then he was like, oh wait a minute, I gotta calm down, I need to be patient. He should already know this, that he needs patience. And it just makes me skeptical about his teaching, like him actually trying to teach some people, because he just doesn't seem that great of a teacher in my opinion, seeing how fast he always ends up losing his cool when he can't probably teach somebody something. So honestly, he still needs to work on himself here. And so the other part of this episode, Jinora wants airbender tattoos because she believes she's a master after talking to Kai about it. Of course, that didn't go well with Tenzin, because Tenzin and Jinora start arguing over this. So much so that she freaking basically leaves and goes with Kai and go pet the freaking sky bisons, the baby sky bisons. Oh, and speaking of that, there's just like these untamed sky bisons around the Airbender temple, which is pretty interesting. But here's the problem. Jinora and Kai, because they're out there messing with sky bisons and everything like that, that is when these thugs, these bandits come and just snatch them up. Apparently these bandits, these thugs, these guys, they sell sky bison. The leader, and this guy made me mad. It's just the fact, because the thing is here, what this guy did is apparently he took the fur off of a sky bison and then was wearing it around like a cape, and kind of like, yeah, I took down a sky bison. Yeah. Seeing as they got captured, Jinora ends up sending out a spirit to Bumi, and Bumi sees that spirit because he has a spirit out, and the spirit talks to the spirit, and he can talk to spirits, and the whole point is Bumi and the Airbenders go get Jinora and Kai, and they succeed in actually getting those two out and everything like that. It's kind of funny too, because this dude got his hair shaved, and because his hair got shaved, he was able to actually dodge like this net that was shooting behind him. He felt the presence of the net, and he knew because the baldness gave him strength. Being bald gives you the senses of a madman, of a person that is just beast. And he did it, and he got out of the way. I'm like, okay then, alright then. So I mean, being bald actually does do something, huh? And so at the end of this episode, the sky bison start to fly, telling us kids are growing up and things are ever changing. It's a really nice message that they had at the end of here, so I actually like that. Jinora is ever changing. She's growing up, you know. You can't keep babying her. You can't thinking like she can't be a master at something. She's something else. She really is something else. So, Tenzin again has to learn to allow these things to happen, You can't really stop it, I mean, he thinks about giving her tattoos, but that's all he's doing. He's thinking about it. So we're probably not gonna ever see her actually have tattoos until maybe much later on or something, when a time skip happens or something like that. Cause I don't think he's gonna be like, okay, here's the tattoos. No, he ain't doing that. So overall, both the episodes are actually good. They're really good episodes. I did enjoy them. So far, I will say this season is really making me like The Legend of Korra a lot more. Because the last two seasons, I can tell you, I had some issues with them, First season, there's a lot of other issues. I can talk about it in like a separate video or something, what the issues are. But I had a lot of issues with the first few seasons. This season, though, I feel it's like it's a lot better. Because, again, it deals with change. We're seeing a lot of change in everybody, and things are just ever changing in the world of the Avatar here, and the Avatar herself has become a lot more manageable. Like I can actually, I don't hate the character, I don't hate her character anymore. She's something that I'm happy that she's becoming, honestly. So everything right now is just has been really, really interesting, and I really been enjoying it. And like I said, I'm just hoping for the villains to really have something, some more motives, some more meat to them. So I would love to know just more about them, what they did back then. You know, if they probably even killed even Aang too, because people were saying that they possibly could kill Aang as well. Because I mean, it's not impossible. We don't know what happens, like how Aang died either, and with how how strong they are, I wouldn't be surprised if Aang, you know, got murked by them at some point. Maybe he was the first fighter to face all 4 of these guys or something, and they knew he was a problem when Aang died. And so, you know, Sokka and Tanrog and Lord Zuko and you know, everybody was, you know, they had to go out there, and, you know, they had to go and get him, because like this is what the issue is here. So I mean, we don't really know the whole issue, or the whole problem is here, but we that's why I want to know more about them. Hopefully we can get like a flashback. That'd be so freaking good. If we got like a flashback on the fights that happened back at that time, that would be so freaking good. And that would give us just more insight on these characters here. So, yeah, leave your comments below and tell me what you think of this week's episode of The Legend of Korra, or episodes of Legend of Korra. Like this video, and subscribe if you want to see some more Legend of Korra reviews from me. I will have a discussion video later on Legend of Korra as well, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, this has been the Thabreakmaster, and until then, people, break out.